What up, world? Welcome back to Dog Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Sporty Black Chicken In. Oh man, there's so much to talk about concerning my Georgia Bulldogs, man. First of all, this is my the first video I did since we got embarrassed by Texas in the Sugar Bowl. Oh man, that was real ugly. It was like one of the worst games. I really just had to sit there and watch. It was like real agony. And for whatever reason, it was like my team, the Bulldogs, they felt like the fact that they didn't make the playoffs, the Sugar Bowl don't mean nothing. But historically, the Sugar Bowl is one of the best premier bowls of all time. So the attitude the team went into the game with wasn't the right attitude. Then you had DeAndre Baker. He elected not to play. He's one of our leaders. So, he said he was afraid he was going to get hurt or injured. He didn't want to mess up his NFL stock. And I see a lot of other student athletes, this is a trend that's going on in college football. I never thought, it would affect us. But it did, And I really hated that. But shout out to Texas. They did their thing. They came out. They controlled the line of scrimmage. They stopped our run and forced Jake Fromm to beat them from the pocket. And they pressured them. They didn't just let them sit up there and, pick them apart. So it's kind of like that has become the remedy to beat Georgia. If you can match them athlete for athlete, then the game plan would be load the box, stop the run, make Jake Fromm beat you from the pocket. But send heavy pressure, because if you send the pressure, 9 times out of 10, Jake Fromm go fold up. Okay, then, moving right along, Justin Field, he transfers to Ohio State. Can't lie, that's a really tough blow. But good thing about it for us, it's kind of like we did a trade with Ohio State, because we ended up flipping the commit from them, Dwayne Mathis. So instead of him going to Ohio State, he's coming to Georgia. And Justin Field is leaving Georgia, going to Ohio State. So kind of like it was a trade, so to speak. So best of luck to Justin Fields, And it's the crazy thing about that whole situation is the quarterback that they got now, Tate Martell, I think he redshirted last year. I want to say, he tweeted out to Justin Field, let him know that don't shoot twice and miss. Basically saying that, man, you trying to come to Ohio State, but I'm here. And I'm not gonna let you beat me out for the job. So this is the crazy thing. This is the crazy thing about this situation for Justin Field, and it's real tricky, because normally you had to sit out a year when you transfer from one school to the next, one D1 school to the next, right? So if he has to sit out a year, which highly likely he will, then the Martell kid who's there, he already got a year under his belt, just getting acclimated with the system and all of the program, right? So let's say Tate Martell, starts do good this next year, while Justin Fields sitting out. So then after the redshirt year for Justin Fields, he comes back. Now he finna have to try to beat this guy out for the job. But who's to say he's going to win the job? What if he loses the job? So it's like it would be one of the greatest college stories, I feel like, in a long time. Because this dude, Justin Field, was highly touted. Like the number 1, number 2 recruit. Him and Trevor Lawrence was battling for that top spot, throughout their senior year going into college, right? And we all see what Trevor Lawrence just did. He just knocked off Alabama to complete a 15-0 season for Clemson. The first 15-0 season since 1897. So, so Justin Field supposed to be up on that level, with Trevor Lawrence. So, but ain't nothing given, man. So for him to transfer and still had to beat out somebody, you know what I'm saying? I feel like the road he finna travel going to Ohio State is gonna be a tougher road had he would have stayed at Georgia, because he already knew just you next up behind Fromm, you know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. He gone, it is what it is. Speaking of which, speaking of people leaving, a tight end, Luke Ford, highly touted kid out of Illinois. You know, he getting a hardship transfer. You know, his grandfather is sick, so you want to be around his family to spend more time with them and let them see him play ball. So he going to Illinois. He can transfer to Illinois. So you know, we can wish him the best as well. And we got a lot of juniors who opted to go to the NFL instead of coming back for their senior year. We got Elijah Holyfield, Miko Hardman, Riley Ridley, and Isaac Nada. All four of those players on the offensive side of the ball. They all elected to go to the NFL, which, you know, I don't blame them, because they all good enough to get drafted, you know. So, you know, if you feel like you need to do what you need to do, so be it. We're going to miss them as far as a leadership standpoint, because I feel like personally, the Sugar Bowl loss, one of the main factors in the loss was a lack of leadership, especially on the offensive side of the ball. It was no leadership. When we fell behind, it was like nobody really just, you know, was able to, you know, help everybody stay calm, stay poised, and go get after it. You know what I mean? Even from just the preparation standpoint. So a lot of that falls on the coaching staff, but it also falls on the leaders. And last year when we made the run to the national championship, we had Nick Chubb and Sonny Michel and Isaiah Wynn to lean on for leadership on the offensive side of the ball. Those guys are gone, so naturally you look for the quarterback, somebody like Jake Fromm, to be a leader. But I can't really say that he's not a good leader, but it was very apparent that the leadership just wasn't up to par for the Sugar Bowl game. So, you know, we're gonna miss those guys that's leaving early. Hopefully, you know, some leaders will, you know, emerge next year, and we gonna come back and try to do what we need to do. We got a strong recruiting class. We just signed the 4-star corner, nice corner, Tyreek Stevenson. He like 6'2", 200. You know what I mean? Real physical in the bump and run aspect of the defense. So I'll look for him to compete for the vacant starting job that DeAndre Baker left. Tyson Campbell will probably be the favorite to win that job, but keep a close eye on Tyreek Stevenson to really push Tyson Campbell for that job, because me personally, I'm not the biggest Tyson Campbell fan when it comes to cornerback. I think he would be better suited playing safety. But, you know, he was a freshman, so he can only get better. He definitely got a ton of potential. Speaking of the back end, me personally, our secondary could be better. Shout out to J.R. Reed for coming back for his senior year. But I really think we need to make the change. I think Richard LeCount, I don't think he's the answer at safety. I think somebody need to take his spot. Maybe Otis Reese. We need somebody who's bigger, more physical, and who's a better tackler. Richard LeCount, he misses way too many tackles. His technique isn't good at all. He always trying to tackle high when he need to be trying to tackle lower. So we need somebody. We need a for sure tackler playing that safety role. That's just my opinion. So, you know, we'll see. We recruited a few DBs, man. We got to find somebody to replace Coach Mel Tucker, because, you know, that was our defensive coordinator. He moved on, took the head coaching job at Colorado. We got a few candidates, you know, that we got an eye on, you know. So I don't really know how that's going to, you know, shape out. But the defense should be all right due to the fact that Kirby Smart is a defensive-minded coach. We definitely need some help on the offensive side of the ball. I would love to see Coach Chaney up out of there, but I don't think that's going to happen. So being that that's not going to happen, I would like to see Georgia recruit another coach to help Chaney with the offensive game preparation, because too many of his play calls are predictable, you know, and teams, they just locked in on us, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to certain play calls, especially on 1st and 10. If we run the ball up the middle on 1st and 10, like 75% of the time, you know. So if I know what's gonna happen, you best believe $1 million defensive coordinator know what's gonna happen, man. But yeah, we got a lot going on at the University of Georgia, man. A lot going on, but I feel like our window of opportunity is still open. You know, we seen what Clemson did to Alabama last night, so they kind of let the world know that Alabama is beatable, you know, and it gave Georgia the blueprint because the last 2 years we've had them down, but we had them on the rope, but we was unable to finish them. So what Clemson did was they just continued to mash the gas. They did never let up off the brakes. They just kept mashing the gas, you know, and I think that's how you beat them. You get Alabama down, you got to just knock them out, and that's what Georgia didn't do, you know. So hopefully we will learn from that. Definitely, hopefully we will learn from the Texas loss to always be prepared and be ready, man, you know. And I don't want the players to get into that mindset of if it ain't the playoff, it's a bust. It's playoffs a bust. No, that's not the right mindset. You need to finish the drill. That's the mindset that Georgia need to have because for the past 2 years, they had Alabama on the rope, but they couldn't finish. Just like this year, this season, they didn't finish. They got to learn how to finish. You got to finish the drill, man. You got to finish them off. Just like your season. You got to close the season out strong, man. But, you know, hopefully we'll learn from that, man. But I'm Sporty Black. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that sub button. Jump in the comment section. Let me know, you know, what y'all think about the state of Georgia football. Do you think we, you know, got a chance of making a playoff next year? Or do you think our window of opportunity is closing? What do you think about the incoming quarterback, Dwayne Mathis? He's 6'6", 210. Run a 10.8 in the 100 meters, so he's kind of fast. So I'm excited about, you know, his potential and his possibility going forward. I'm one of those people that's still not quite sold on Jake Fromm because I'm from the state of Georgia. I watched a lot of his high school football coming up, and he never won the state title. But then you got the kid Trevor Lawrence, who just won the national championship against Alabama. He only lost like 2 games his entire high school career, and he won like 2 state championships. So that man been winning. He's a winner. So to me, the verdict is still out on Fromm whether or not he can take us to the promised land, meaning get us over the hump to get the national title. What do you guys think? Can Fromm get it done, or we in for another 10-2, 11-3 year? Y'all let me know, man. I'm Sporty Black. I'm signing out, but before I go, go Dogs.